Okay, so we were studying this primitive data types. Means those data types which are fundamental in nature. Means these data types are not derived from any other data type. Okay. So what are the data types in primitive category? So the first one is int. Okay. Uh, so you can write for integer values. Many data types are there, like starting from long, then int, then short, then byte. So these are the four data types that support integer type of value. Okay. Now the second is float and double. Okay. Third one, char data type. Fourth one, Boolean data type. Okay. So these are primitive data types.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So in the last class, I had told you the difference between these four: long, int, short, and byte. All these data types support integer type of values, but these data types actually differ in two things, and these are uh, the range and the size. Okay, so which one has the highest range? Do you know?
The long.
Long.
The
And
long.
what is its size?
Sir,
Sir, 64 bits, 8 bytes.
8 bytes.
64 bit or 8 bytes means if you declare any variable of type long, so that variable will consume 64 bit storage from your RAM. Okay, so as per the requirement in the program, we declare the data types. Okay, now come to this float and double. So both these data types support fractional types of values. Okay, means values having decimal part. So again, these these two support same kind, but they differ in range and size. So float data type has a range of minus 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 38 to 3.4 into 10 to the power plus 38 minus 1. Okay. So here I am going to write. It is also given in your book. Uh, the range of float is minus 3.4 into 10 to the power. So for power here, I am going to use this operator because in Notepad I can't type power. So it is minus 38 to 3.4 into 10 to the power 38 minus 1. Okay. So here we'll have to decrease minus 1 because 0 is also included here. Okay. So this thing you can understand just by taking example of byte data type. So as you all know, byte supports a range of minus 128 to plus 127. Okay. So here 0 is also included. That is why the plus range is always less than 1 than the minus range. Okay. That is why we have to subtract minus 1 here also. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually, just see one information. This little bit it in deep. So what is the size of byte?
8-bit.
8 bit.
8 bits,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, 8 bit. Now see how this range came from 8 bit size. Okay. So it supports -128 to +127. So if you count the total number within this range, so what will be that number?
256.
256
56.
or 55? It will be 255. Just see here the size of byte is 1 byte or 8 bits. It means in 8 bit we can have the maximum value is 8 times 1. Okay, 8 times 1 means this is the maximum value that we can represent in 8 bits. So it is just like if I tell you to write the largest number of 5 digits. So what you will do, that you will write 5 times 9. Okay. So if I tell you that to write the largest binary number of 8 bits, so what you will do, you'll write 8 times 1. Okay. So both are similar here. So here in case of byte has size 8 bit. So the largest possible value that can be represented in 8 bits is 8 times 1. Now just see what is equivalent to 8 times 1 in decimal number system. So here I am going to use calculator to show you. So here I have I'm going to select this binary type value. So now I'm going to give it 8 times 1. 8. So now in the decimal equivalent, the number you can see is 255. It means in total 8 bits, we can represent total 255 different types of number values, starting from 0 to you can say 255. So that is why this range comes from here. 8 times 1, that is equals to 255, equivalent in decimal number system. So this range is divided into plus and minus values. So in minus value, it is up to -128, and in plus, it is up to +127. So understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubt, you can ask. So here I have written the largest binary value in 8 bit. The smallest binary value of 8 bit, what will be?
8 times 0.
Yes, 8 times 0. So this is the smallest 8 bit value. Okay, and this value is this value corresponds to 0. Okay, it means this 0 also comes within this range. And now if you have to increase its value from 0 to 1, so you have to use 1. So here for this 0, if you put here 1, so this value now becomes 1. So if you put here 2 times 1 here, so it becomes 3. So if you know how to convert binary into decimal, so you can figure it out how it is going on here. So if you want to check the range of any data type of int or long or short. So just see the size, and according to that size, you can take that number of one. Okay, and if you convert that binary value into decimal value, so you will find the total possible numbers that can be stored in that data type. Okay, so don't worry about this. Now come to this double. So this double has larger range than the float. So it is equals to 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 308. So if you have to store a big value that is not under this float range, so you can use this double data type. If you talk about the size of the float, so it is of 4 bytes. 4 bytes means total 32 bits. And if you talk about the size of double, so it is of 8 bytes, means 64 bits. So these two data types support fractional types of values. Now see another data type that is uh, char. Okay, so here char stands for character. Means if you have to store a character value in a variable, so you'll have to declare that variable of type char. For example, if I declare char ch, so here ch is a variable, and this ch variable can store a character type of value. Like this, you can store ch equals to inside single inverted comma, you can place the character. So for example, R. So now this R character is now stored inside this CH variable. Why? Because this R is a character value or character constant, you can say. And this CH data, CH variable is of char type. Okay. Now, what is the size of char data type? So size of the char data type uh, is of 2 bytes. 2 bytes means total 16 bits. So 16 bits are enough to represent any character from Unicode character set. Means in Unicode character set, all major languages of the world are declared there. Means characters from all major world's language are declared there. So if we declare a variable of char type, so we can store in that variable any symbol from any major language of the world. So what we have to do, just we have to follow like this. Means first we have to declare a variable, and then we can store any character in that variable. So this character can be English language alphabet, or Hindi language, or of Malayalam, Tamil, any language, because all these languages are present inside Unicode character set, and Unicode character set size is 16 bits. So understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever it is required in the program to declare any variable of type char, so you have to declare like this. Okay. Now come to the next and the last one is Boolean. Okay. So you already know about Boolean. It was there in literal Boolean literals. So whenever you have to store any Boolean literal means either true or false. So you have to declare Boolean data type of variable. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So how many possible values it can store?
True and false.
Two.
It can store only two value. It can be either true or it can be false. Okay. So how can you declare? So you have to first write the data type, and then you can name the variable. So for example, Boolean uh, res. Okay, so now this res variable can store any Boolean value or Boolean literal. Just you can see res equals to true. It means now this res variable is now storing value true. And mark here one thing that anytime if you have to give true or false value, so always write it in lowercase characters. Once you can't use combination of uppercase and lowercase or uppercase only. You have to use only lowercase characters for writing true or false. So now, is there any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, here I am going to type certain code fragments like int num equals to uh, 1. Okay. Now char ch equals ch. And here I'll write ch equals to num. Now, can you guess what will be the value stored inside this ch variable?
For 1.
1.
Yes, sir.
No, 1 will not be there. Let us change it to 65. So, no problem. This thing you have not studied. So here just see that here I have declared a variable named num, and it is of integer type, means int type, and it is also storing integer type of value 65. Now, now here I have declared another variable ch, and it is of character type, means it will store only character type of value. Now here in this third line, you can see that I have assigned this num value to this ch variable. So in this expression, these data types are these variables are of same data type or different data types.
The
Different data types.
The different data types.
Different data types. So here I am trying to store an integer value in the character type of data variable. So here we have to see that is it possible to do this or not. But if I remove this char and here if I put type this int, then now is there any problem?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
No,
no.
sir.
It means both
Okay.
variables are of same type integer, and then we can easily assign any integer value to another integer variable. Okay, so it is possible. Now, what will happen if I change this, change the data types involved in this expression? So, for to know this, here we have to study type conversion. The name of the topic is type conversion. Okay, so in type conversion, you have to study that how a data type can be converted into another data type. Just you had seen in this expression when it was of char type. Okay, so this type conversion is of two types. The first one is implicit conversion. Implicit conversion, and the second one is explicit conversion. Okay, now this implicit conversion means automatic conversion. It means simply automatic conversion. Means the conversion of one data type into another data type occurs automatically, means it is done by the compiler itself, not by the programmer. So for example, you can see here that here I am going to declare two variables into n equals to 5 and then float f. Now here I am going to write f equals to n. So here in this expression, n is of int type variable and f is of float type variable. And here I am trying to store an integer type of value inside float type of variable. So here conversion will take place. So first you should know what kind of conversion here will take place, whether it is implicit or explicit. So the next thing you have to check here that the value that is going to be stored in another variable, what are their data types and what is the difference in the size and range. So if you compare int and float for size and range, so int has low size than the float. Is it or not? Tell me. The size of int is what? What is the size of int?
32 bits.
So 4 bytes.
4 bytes, na? And size of float?
It's a 2 bytes.
4 bytes only, sir.
4 bytes, na? Okay. Means here both have same size, na? Here both have
Yes,
same
sir.
size. Okay.
That's why it's 5.
So int and float both have same size. Now, if these two data types have same size, then we see that which data type supports precise value. Which data type supports precise value? Means which data type has more precision for the value, accurate value. Accurate value will be stored in which data type? Float or int?
Sir, float, I think, sir.
It should be float, na? Because in float we can store fractional part also, na? So if I write two numbers like this 25.589 and another number I'll write simply 25. So which one is precise?
So the first one.
The first one, 25.589, because it is considering the fractional part also. So in any case, if you have an expression having two data types involved and both are having same size, then you have to think about the precision. Means which data type support more precise value. So here in this case, float supports more precise value than the int. So this int type will be converted into float type. Means this 25 will be stored in F, but not as 25. It will become 25.0. Okay, means here implicit conversion will take place. Means this conversion happens automatically, means done by the compiler. Okay, now if I uh, change this int n to double n. Now here we have double data type and float data type, and now see here. Now here I am trying to store a float value inside double value. So once again check for the size and range. Which data type more size and more range? Double or float?
So double.
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 Okay. So now here in this case, these two data types differ in the size. So here implicit conversion will take place when the smaller data type, if we store into larger data type. So is it happening here or not? Here
Yes, sir.
here the
Yes, sir.
value inside f is going to be copied inside n. So f is of float data type and n is of double data type. So float value is going to be stored inside double data type. It means a smaller data type is going to stored in bigger data type. So in this case, again, implicit conversion will take place. Means this float value means 24.67. It is a float type. So it will be converted into double data type, and then it will be stored inside n variable, which is of double data type. But if I try to do like this, means f equals to n, if I write here, then here what I'm trying to do is to store a bigger value inside a smaller value. So it is not possible to do this. Means in this case, there will be no implicit conversion take place. Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so implicit conversion will take place only when if we store a smaller data type value inside bigger data type value. Okay, bigger data type variable you can say. So in that case, implicit conversion will take place. And if both data types are having same size, then in that case, you have to consider about the precision. Means which data type support more precise value. Okay, so the less precise value will be stored inside more precise value. Means variable I am talking. Okay.
Okay.
So in the next class, we'll write programs based on type conversion. Okay, implicit
Okay, sir.
as well as explicit both. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then
Sir,
thank
send
you.
the yesterday's
sir.
videos also and today also.
Yesterday video is already there. Okay, I'll send the link. Okay.
Okay, sir. And
Okay.
today's one also, sir.
Okay.